The Good Witch Azura is a book series that has appeared frequently throughout the Owl House, and while it's still questionable if the Good Witch Azura was an actual witch, the parallels between Luz and Company to the Good Witch Azura books is undeniable. So I figured I would do a breakdown and analysis video on all the parallels that we have seen so far, so without further ado, let's get into it. We are introduced to Azura in the first scene of the series, as Luz is giving her book report on the Good Witch Azura. This instantly informs us that Luz is a fan. And this is pushed even further when Luz follows Albert into the abandoned house and takes the book from Ida after being transported to the Boiling Isles, showing that Luz is willing to put herself in potentially dangerous situations in order to retrieve her book. We then see Luz's book report from the beginning of the episode come full circle when she recites the same lines and defeats Warden Wrath. And then at the end of A Lying Witch and a Warden, we see the parallels to the old witch and animal companion characters to Ida and King respectively, along with Luz being the parallel to Azura herself. In Witches Before Wizards, we see this again when Luz places a picture of Azura in front of her face, showing that she wants to become a witch just like Azura. We also see that Luz hopes to have a predetermined destiny as a chosen one similar to Azura. We even see that Luz is deciding what kind of chosen one she will be and provides two different options.
Should I be full of optimism and goodness, like the Good Witch Azura?
And I feel that this describes Luz pretty well, but with the other option...
Or should I be like a bad girl chosen one with black nail polish and a mysteriously withdrawn attitude? I act like I don't care, but I secretly do.
I wonder who this could be foreshadowing. Speaking of Amity though, when we look at Convention, we see that Luz is reading her book to King, and if we look at this illustration in the book, it directly parallels this moment here. I also want to point out that Hecate is a goddess in Greek mythology. She's considered to be a powerful user of magic and sorcery, much like Amity. I also find it interesting that Hecate has multiple faces, as I think this works well for being a parallel to Amity as a character due to her being layered and often putting on a facade of the popular top student, as we see later in this episode. The moment at the end of Convention between Luz and Amity developing their relationship further leads directly into our latest look at the Good Witch Azura series with book number 5. At the beginning of Lost in Language, we see that Luz is reading her book to King. This time around, book 5 is dealing with rivals becoming friends. Luz admiring how Azura can befriend anyone. Upon finding Amity reading to a group of kids at the library, Luz sees this as her opportunity to befriend her. I'll also point out that a few moments later in the episode, Luz has the intention of befriending the twins in order to befriend Amity. Fast forward to the reveal of Amity's hideout in the library, and we see that she too is a fan of the Good Witch Azura series, having books 1 through 4. When Luz finds Amity's diary along with the Good Witch Azura books, we see that Amity has drawn herself in an outfit similar to Azura's. This shows us that Amity admires Azura as well. And when Amity discovers Emra, Edric, and Luz in her hideout, she calls Luz a bully. Now I want to go back to this moment from Convention, because based on our perspective as the viewer, we see everything from Luz's point of view. So when Luz challenged Amity to a witch's duel, and given the interactions we have had and seen with Amity previously, then yes, we see Luz as Azura and Amity as Hecate in this moment. However, now that we know that Amity admires Azura, then from Amity's perspective, she sees Luz as Hecate in this moment. Though never intentional, Amity has had some bad luck in her interactions with Luz. But when Amity calls Luz a bully, this really solidifies her viewing herself as Azura and Luz as Hecate. Additionally, there is a popular theory going around that Amity's hair is dyed. We can see her roots are growing in, and back in episode 6, we can see part of a portrait with a girl with short brown hair. The color of Amity's hair currently is far closer to Azura's shade of green rather than her siblings. So we can see that Amity also tries to replicate Azura in appearance. I would say the biggest distinction between Luz and Amity and how they try and follow in Azura's footsteps is that Luz tries to be kind to everybody she meets, while Amity tries to be the best in her magical abilities. And this makes sense considering that Luz has no natural magical abilities, so the way she exemplifies Azura is by trying to be kind to others. Whereas Amity has natural talent and magical abilities and looks to become a more powerful witch. The last part of this episode is Luz letting Amity borrow the 5th book in the series, and fittingly enough, it's the one where Azura and Hecate become friends. I definitely see the Good Witch Azura books continuing to be a recurring plot element, especially when it comes to Luz and Amity's potential friendship. After all, I'm assuming Amity will return this book to Luz at some point. But outside of Luz and Amity, I could see the Azura books creating more parallels to characters like King and Ida in the future. Whether Azura was or is real is still a question on my mind, and I hope that the show will drop subtle hints here and there to keep me guessing. Regardless, I look forward to what other foreshadowing and parallels the Good Witch Azura books will create with Luz and company. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.